Oh, my baby gorillas, and have we got some fun today? So, let me just read out this little definition for you. A person who uses unlawful violence and intimidation, especially against civilians in pursuit of political aims. That is the definition of terrorism. We have now seen in America that a Jewish gentleman, an elderly Jewish gentleman, was attacked by ANTIFA outside, randomly outside, just walking out of a hotel. And the gentleman had a heart attack. The Jewish gentleman had a heart attack and could have died. And then two United States Marines who were Hispanic in origin, from Mexico, I think they were, from originally, were attacked by a white Antifa mob chanting racial slurs at these gentlemen, heroes in the American military. And they were chanting racist slurs against these brave American Marines. There was only two of them and about 10 Antifa terrorists. So why has Antifa not been prescribed as a terrorist group? Hello from Texas. Hello, Texas. Hello, Frank. So why has Antifa not been prescribed as a terrorist group? Let me just read this definition to you once more. A person who uses unlawful violence and intimidation. The intimidation, the Antifa threw in the Hope Not Hate, which is another extreme neo-communist group, set up actually by Diane Abbott, who in British television advocated for Chairman Mao, who murdered 45 million. They have a year ago, have they? Have they done that in America a year ago? Well, they haven't done it in the UK, Frank. So why is Antifa in the UK not being actually prescribed? And why are people who are masked Antifa, Soros, Rent Mob, and the lefty Gestapo have the backing of the politicals like Diane Abbott? And that's completely correct. So Diane Abbott, baby gorilla here, there you go, hanky boy, my baby gorillas. So that's completely right. Our political, and this is where I was trying to allude to, our political class, and this is not, I think Diane Abbott is part of the issue, but the other part of the issue is actually the globalist conservatives. They're in power just now. They could ban Antifa or make it a terrorist organisation, which Antifa definitely is, to actually use violence to intimidate. They're also what they're doing with Carol Benjamin. So Carol Benjamin, Sargon of Akkad, has been now been barred from Patreon. So they're obviously using their intimidation tactics against Patreon. So everybody's now leaving, including myself, is now leaving Patreon. So that's probably going to collapse. I've already closed my Twitter account. All those people who are also involved in that globalist mentality, who are also backing Antifa, and our media outlets are not actually saying what these are, which is a neo-communist terrorist organisation combined with anarchists and some socialists. But the Black Bloc are basically an extreme threat to individuals. So these are this is a terrorist organisation. And why is it not being banned? Because obviously, as Hank, you quite rightly pointed out there, that there are people who are benefiting. There are people who are benefiting from the fact that Antifa are there. Now, I'm in the UK. I'm not really overly fussed, but since there are too many Democrats running cities, they're where they're strongest. So the authoritarian liberals, and not the classical liberalists or the libertarian liberalists, but the authoritarian liberals seem to have a kindred spirit with the globalists. So you've got to understand, let's just rewind here. So the corporatist globalists who want a one world government like Soros, and that's what the EU, the undemocratic EU, has been designed to bring in. You've also got the African Union, which is now coming tighter and into more of a European Union. We've already seen the Barcelona process, which is going to allow free movement and free trade from Africa into Europe. That's why they're now doing the Barcelona process, the first step. Then it was the Union of the Mediterranean, and now we're seeing, from a treaty point of view, many mayors in democratic cities in the States tell the police to stand down Antifa. So they're actually now, the Democrats, authoritarian Democrats, are now condoning terrorism. So we've now got the Union of the Mediterranean, and then obviously now we've got the Migrant Declaration, where we're actually allowing people a human right to come here. Africa is being taken over by the Chinese. That's correct. The Chinese are investing tons of money. So we're now getting through the migrant treaty that's happened in Marrakesh, that Theresa May never told us that we were signing up to, but she's taken it on board. It was never in the Conservative manifesto to actually allow that to happen, or for that to actually happen, that it should be taken as a human rights, that people shouldn't be allowed to speak on the fact that they're being ethnically cleansed through the use of mass immigration from large parts of the country. But that should be just covered up. We shouldn't talk about that. So, I mean, places like Stoke just now, there's so many immigrants coming out there, and Theresa May constituency doesn't take any. So, right, I don't get that, Frank, right, Gab? Anyway, so, the treaty is now been, I think, going to be signed, or has been signed. It's about this time anyway. So Theresa May has never informed the British public that she's actually doing this. And now we've got the Barcelona process, the Union of the Mediterranean, and now the Marrakesh migrant treaty, where all human rights to actually allow more and more people in to the UK and just to come willy-nilly to displace, because they've got the human right to actually have property. Marrakesh, that's it. Marrakesh in the Morocco. So they've now got the human right to have the same facilities that have been paid for by the actual people that are here. So, I mean, we've actually paid for it for generation for taxation. Now, I went to South Lanarkshire Council. Now, my name's Ballantyne. If you go on Google, check Ballantyne. Ballantyne's spelling is like the whiskey. You can see that we originate from South Lanarkshire. Now, in South Lanarkshire, President Trump saved America from the left and the globalists. Now, when I go to South Lanarkshire Council, the day that I actually went, after spending 2 years on the streets in Dubai, when I went back to South Lanarkshire Council, they told me that I had to prove that I actually came from there. So me, historically being a Ballantyne, coming from South Lanarkshire, I've now got to prove that I actually come from South Lanarkshire. Even though I was educated in school, primary school, secondary school, been housed there by the council before, I've now got to prove that I've got a connection, to South Lanarkshire. So somebody that I know has got to, or my mum or somebody has got to stay there. The time that I was in actually asking for this, an African fellow with an African accent, I'm not talking about an African Scot, I'm talking about a guy with an African accent, came in and he was given the form immediately. So I'm having to have a connection with South Lanarkshire, even though historically we are from South Lanarkshire, so we're getting basically, by the SNP government, getting treated as second-class citizens. And I'm going to have a connection with South Lanarkshire. It's not the fact that we've got a historic connection with South Lanarkshire being a Ballantyne. That doesn't matter. So we're basically being allowed to be replaced by our political class in Scotland, who are more interested in, Carol Benjamin again did a great article on discussing about gingerbread men than it is about actually addressing proper issues. The SNP just now can't grow the economy. It's wall-to-wall Remainers, even though 1 million Scots didn't vote to remain in the EU. So, the globalists are now, so the Soroses, we know that the globalists exist. They've already set up the EU, undemocratic EU, 28 unelected commissioners dictating our legislation with no representation. They're not elected, they don't have to set, they're appointed, they set the actual parameters. So then underneath that sits different sort of globalists. So you've then got you've got the corporate globalists that can be manipulate the other globalists. So the communist globalists can be manipulated, and ANTIFA and the Islamic fascist globalists, who both we've seen the left, like the neo-communists. There we've got Owen Jones, the wee fucking twat, talking about, oh, it's going to be great, let the Islamists in, being gay himself. Owen Jones is, for the guys in America that don't know, Google him, there's some hilarious stuff up on him. Thinks that the left and Islamism is right-wing. It is right-wing, it's a right-wing authoritarian totalitarian ideology that wants to impose this misogynistic, anti-homosexual, anti-women type of religion on the whole world. And we've got the communists. Now we've seen what's happened in Venezuela, another communist disaster. Every time where the communism is actually tried, it's been an absolute unprecedented disaster. So, but both of those are globalist. The globalist Islamists want to have the world caliphate, and they're prepared to kill anybody who doesn't want to do that. And then we've got the communists who are linked to ANTIFA as part of it, but they're also in college campuses as professors, and I don't know what is getting taught in these universities these days, college professors, who are also globalists. So the two are mixed together, even though the Islamists are right-wing, basically totalitarian, right-wing authoritarians, and these the communists like Owen Jones are left-wing. Gabrielle, is a long process. The hardest part is waking people up. Yes, well, so we've got the left and the right combining from the to work under the corporatist globalists. So they're causing major problems. The corporatist globalists are using ANTIFA for their open borders. More Islamists are coming in, and they're absolutely causing problems. There was another. The gingerbread men was just another attack on the culture as the left continues to destroy. That's it. Of course, it's cultural Marxism to destroy. I mean, just to go back to that, Jack Dorsey, the scumbag that's in charge of Twitter, has now allowing people who say white genocide is acceptable to remain on their platform. Now, if that's not race hate and an incitement to violence, I don't know what is. Yet, kicking people who are moderate conservatives off their platform. I think we should actually probably look at banning potentially Twitter in the UK. I think that would send a real good message to Silicon Valley that we could actually have a firewall and potentially ban Twitter in the UK for it's allowing race hate and genocide advocates, white genocide advocates, to remain on the thingy. I do follow a lot of that. It's happening in the American corner. Okay, so a lot of that would be a completely viable way to actually ban Twitter in the UK, is to actually just enforce the race hate legislation to say that your company is unacceptable in the UK, which we could just ban Twitter. I mean, if they just can ban people from their terms of service, we could ban Twitter for not applying our terms of service. So we've got that's Jack Dorsey in causing big problems, banning people who are conservatives. Google, we've already seen it, we already know what's going on. I'm banned on both my Facebooks again from Zuckerberg. Not sure if Mark Zuckerberg did actually steal his idea from the twins on when we all saw on social media. I mean, but if he had stolen it, that to me is intellectual theft. If he was employed to get the write the program for the twins, and then he just said, "Oh, I'm just going to take that idea and do it himself." For me, that's intellectual theft, and he should have had to hand over Facebook to the actual twins, not to actually continue to actually run Facebook. So if the twins had employed him, and he for the actual Facebook, which it looks like he did. All the big flat plums are biased. Yeah, well, so I think the two twins. Or it's not the two twins, but the twins who were the rowers should get Facebook back. They should politically have to hand Facebook back over to the twins, or there should be another case against the actual twins. So we're now seeing the movements towards the new classical liberalist party in the UK, which is very exciting. Might be another libertarian liberalist party in Scotland. Could be a British libertarian classical liberalist party and a libertarian liberalist party who might believe in Scottish independence or moves towards more power to Scotland. I'm on Gab. Are you on Gab? Are you? Yeah. So Mind, the guys are all moving. We're all moving from to Gab. Mind. I can't remember. I was and there's Peter. What's his face? Oh, who came off of it? Harris came off of Patreon. I'm just waiting to come off of Patreon just now. I think that the site looks like it's going to fall down. A lot of the contributors are losing revenue because of this guy banning Carol Benjamin, who's a centrist. He's a libertarian centrist. So now they're actually coming for the centrist now. He's not right wing or alt right or anything like that. He is a centrist, like myself, Paul Joseph Watson. We're all pretty much Count Dankula, all pretty much centrist libertarians. So that's pretty much the nail in the crown. I mean, Sam Harris was the 13th biggest contributor to Patreon. So he was the 13th biggest, and I'm off it as well. I mean, that's just me. That's done it for me. So what's his name? Peter, who's the great psychiatrist. They are talking about him and Dave Rubin are now talking about a new platform. And I might set up another platform. I've got a good idea for a platform as well, which will definitely be libertarian. Where we won't be doing any of this shadow banning. And shadow banning, the closing down of political discourse that's happened in the UK is just harassment and the failure of our political class. And this is where I was going with this to get it back in. So we have now got the 200 globalists in the Conservative Party, the ones that want to remain in the EU. There we've got Majid Nawaz again talking about staying in the EU. Majid, we voted to leave the EU. We didn't vote for a Norway-style deal. We didn't vote for a Canadian-style deal. Well, the Canadian deals would actually work quite well, but the Canadian deal is just basically a zero tariff deal. So we could actually have the zero tariff deal. That's no problem. So, but we have to come out of the EU and then negotiate whatever deal it is then. Any part in, half out is not what was voted for. The 17.4 million people voted to leave the EU. So that's to Majid Nawaz, who continued to want a second vote. You don't get a second vote. You get one vote, you lost. Unfortunately, we're out of the EU. We're not half in, half out. We're out of the EU. That's it. And then we can negotiate to actually have a free trade agreement, which will benefit us. So to answer your question, which you asked earlier on, what we would do is, what you're asking is, what deal did we didn't know what deal we were going to get. Oh, we're all crazy cats. Oh, just going out and not knowing what we're doing. What was actually happening was we were going to leave the EU, not half in, half out EU, no deal WTO. Well, there you go, 39 billion a day in day one, so we don't have to pay 39 billion. We leave the EU. That's it. We didn't vote to be in a EU or EC light or, oh my God, we all voted to leave. We can then have a free trade agreement. So, and we don't even have to do the WTO, we just have a zero tariff agreement with the EU and whoever else we want. So there's what we want. We're not all splitting up. So WTO is the fallback position. We set up a zero tariff position for all of us. I cancelled my Patreon account as this social engineering has got to stop. The bias is obvious. Yeah, we're all cancelling. I'm off as well, guys. I've cancelled my Twitter. Fuck Silicon Valley. Here you go. Fuck them. And Silicon Valley better watch, because we're all potentially coming into power. They're all, we're the new generation of the political class, and we will do things that will affect your businesses if you continue this. Then there's all sorts of things. We can increase your taxes. We can really start screwing about with you if you're going to continue going down this non-freedom of speech. We all believe in freedom of speech as long as it's not yours. Yes, yes, we did, yeah. So, that's just listen, I'm telling you now, that's you warned. It doesn't matter how big your company is or anything else. We're the 5th largest economy in the world, and if you get banned by us, you're going to lose a lot of revenue. So beware. We're already using our capitalist choice and Patreon. How long do you think Patreon's going to last? I think it's going to collapse and collapse, because all the contributors who are making non-political content will move and can move on to this new platform, and then basically they've actually put the death knell by pandering to the communist fascists, by pandering to these guys who are the real fascists. You have signed your own death knell of your company, and I've got the utmost respect for MD that sets up a company and tries to develop it. But if you pander to the communists, you're signing your own death warrant for your company. We've already seen it. You only have to look at what's happening to EE Sports and the Gamergate thing, where the actual share price is just now falling off a cliff because they were actually trying to be politically correct. And let's move on, gents and ladies and my baby gorillas, to the Turly Burly. I hope you all know what I'm talking about, because it sounds like a bumper sticker. Turly Burly. Oh, it's great, isn't it? Sure, that's what we used to play when we swung people around at school. Anna Turley and Kay Burley is who I'm talking about. Fantastic. What a pair of wallopers. And Anna the Banana Turley represents Redcar. I'm not sure if it's Redcar and Cleveland, which is in the UK. She is the MP. Now, in my previous videos, I've already explained to you guys that our MPs and the way that they gerrymander the system of our political class means that we've got people who are MPs who are misrepresenting their constituency. And lo and behold, Anna Banana Turley pops right out and makes a fool of herself on Sky News, having to be defended by Kay Burley. Burley Turley, Turley Burley. It is quite incredible. You couldn't write it. So, the gang of women ambushing this poor gentleman who was merely trying to, when they were women-splaining or whatever they were doing, being famous fascists, neo-fascists, because obviously feminism is communism, or the new feminism. So they were all going on this poor MP, this other gentleman, he had to walk off because they were just over-talking him. I mean, it was just so rude. I've never seen anything so rude. We can crash the pound if we stand together. Well, we don't need to crash the pound. If the pound goes down, so my background is in actual currency trading, Forex trading. So that's what I did. I was the head of 2 Forex companies. So the pound is going down. The pound will retest, I think, and you've heard it here first. The pound, the pound will hit £1, $1. So the pound will actually go down, I think. And retest. It was back down at £1, $1 in 1986. The pound used to be worth $4. So this has been a long-term decline in the pound. It's not just happened overnight. It's been continually going down against the pound now. I think it'll hit resistance and then it'll rebound. But it may break through the £1, $1 mark. But this is nothing to do with this is nothing to do with the Brexit. This was going to go down anyway and has been going down for decades. And that's because of our failed political class. So if it goes down to parity, it means that all our exports are going to be cheaper. So if it goes down to parity, somebody who was importing out the goods that we're manufacturing are going to get them at least 25% less if it's, say, the price of the pound dollar is 1.25. So they're going to get it 25% less. So it's going to boost our economy again, another boost. So we're getting the fishing back. We're not having to spend 39 grand. We're having a reduction in our currency value against foreign currencies, which is going to make our goods cheaper, their goods more expensive, and is going to benefit our balance of payments. You are a very intelligent man. Thank you for keeping me aware of what's truly happening in the UK and my ancestral homeland. Thanks very much, Frankie boy. Thank you. That's very kind of you. So, we're going to have a boost to the economy because the pound's reducing in the cause. MP sold us out, and I'm pissed. May's attempt to keep us in the EU and nothing treason. Well, so let me go back to Turley Burley. So Anna Turley, the useless Labour MP, who said, wait until I just get this correct, this is a very important thing that she said. She said, oh, my constituents didn't vote to make ourselves poorer. What a great fucking line. What an absolutely useless pile of rubbish she is. 66.2% in the Redcar and Cleveland constituency, or the area, I think it might be in the area, right, because Redcar, I think, is the constituency. 66.2% voted to leave the EU. It didn't vote for making you poorer, or making you richer, or for growing plants in the Mars, or anything else. It voted to leave the EU. Anna, have I getting through to you? So what I would do, if I was in Redcar, right, so if I was a constituent, and I was a Brexit constituent of Redcar, I'd be phoning her, saying, why are you misrepresenting what we voted for? Why have you been parachuted in by the Labour Party to misrepresent us? I would join the Labour Party, I would join the local constituency at Redcar and vote and put in a vote of no confidence in her because she is misrepresenting you as a Labour MP. She is wanting another vote when the majority of her constituents voted to actually leave the EU. And this is exactly what I'm talking about, where political class has been parachuted in there and they're not representative. But you as an individual, do you agree with me that the EU is finished and more nationals? Yeah, it's going to decline. We've already seen it. It's already, the Italians are getting wise to the Poles. All my fellow Europeans are brilliant. I love them. Great. Spanish, great. I love my fellow Europeans. We're only critical of the institutions, and I know they're all intelligent enough and done some fantastic things over the year to be able to understand that. Hi, buddy. Hi, Tim. How you doing, bud? So, they all know that it's going. The globalists know this is all starting to shake and rattle and roll. They're still, even though the 17.4 million people voted to leave the EU, wanted reduced immigration, she's in Marrakesh signing the treaty, telling the people that she wants more immigration or make it easier to come in. There's still immigrants coming in through Cali and dinghies over. There's no control over immigration policy, and this is what the globalists have done. You need to stop voting for them. You need to go along to Anna Turley's constituency, get a group of Brexiteers, get a group in Facebook of Brexiteers, join the Labour Party. Doesn't matter if you don't like it, your Labour Party, there's a lot not to like, and deselect her. Put in a vote of no confidence in Anna Turley in the constituency and deselect her and get a Brexiteer in there. Do it in every constituency that they're not representing you. The globalists have put women like Anna Turley in and then got Kay Burley Turley, to actually protect her against her stupidity. I mean, some of the stuff she was coming out was absolutely bonkers. So, Kay Burley works for Sky. Kay Burley works for Sky, so the media is now trying to protect the globalist Anna Turley, who's the MP, who's a Remainer, in a constituency that massively, nearly 2/3, 2 out of 3 people voted to leave the EU in Redcar and Cleveland. And yet, we have now got the fantastic Anna Turley in the Turley Burley show, now actually protecting the Sky News, protecting the globalist Anna Turley in the Leave seat, misrepresenting her constituents. And there's a name for you. I'm actually giving you one name, but I reckon I could go through 650 of them to actually show where the misrepresentation is coming from. especially the whole of the SNP, 35 SNP, not one of them voting for Leave. Oh, go and look at the BBC. Anna Turley, Kay Burley, and the gentleman who walked off, rightly so, walked off after the harassment he was getting by the women. So now Sargon commented. So I'm going to go down, guys, and we're going to start speaking to the SNP and start getting them to have a bit of a discourse with us. So the SNP can't grow an economy. I don't think any of them have ever tried to start a business. No, I don't think any one of them. I'll go down and get proved wrong. Women are working in the Scottish Parliament are making sexual harassment claims against, well, they made it against Alex Salmond. Now, I think Alex Salmond was a brilliant MP, certainly a lot better than Nicola Sturgeon. But all these women are now making these sexual allegations or harassment allegations. I would be sceptical of some of them. And I think that women should have to do, and men as well. I think if you're accused of something like this, you have to do a polygraph test. I think you have to do a lie detector test to see who's actually lying. I think that's only fair. But if you lie, if you're making a false allegation, you should go to jail. That's simple as that. If you are lying and trying to destroy my career, destroy my opportunities in life, you should go to jail. Our police would. If I was sexually harassed as a man, it's highly unlikely that I would go to jail. If I was sexually harassed by a woman, which I have been, I've been sexually harassed by women since I was 11, doing the reverse Donald Trump. But I've never charged them, I've never tried to get them charged. I doubt if I went to the police whether they would do anything anyway, as a man being harassed. But I wouldn't personally do that. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't charge a woman with that. But women obviously do. But I know for a fact that women make up stuff. They do. A proportion of them, not all of them. I think the vast majority of women are worth believing. Or certainly, I think every woman should be taken on board and every complaint should be taken on board. But I think that a proportion that lie, and those proportion that lie, the police should have a responsibility to put them in jail. If you're making false allegations, you should go to jail. False allegations, harassment, and we could get a polygraph tests so that both the complaint, the people that are complaining, and the people that are actually making the allegation and defending it can be done relatively quickly. And then we can actually see who's lying, and then we can start to investigate down further if there's political motivations. Now, I can say anybody Nicola Sturgeon used to sexually harass me. Now, she didn't, but I can say that. She's harassed me. Well, she should resign. A woman wouldn't resign anyway, and it would be very difficult for me to get any sort of police involvement to actually say that Nicola Sturgeon used to sexually harass me. She didn't. I'm not making any false allegations against Nicola, but I'm just putting the point out. But there's Alex Salmond, which looks like a politically motivated thing anyway. But the point is, the women aren't having enough sex anyway. We've got a declining population. 43 years of politicians have only followed the EU's orders and have ignored the British. Exactly. So we've now got a declining population where we've now got Islam increasingly coming in, which is a true rape culture. But none of the feminists are actually standing up against Islam, who has the true rape culture. In fact, I'm sure Nicola Sturgeon is metaphorically in bed with a lot of the Islamists just now in her constituency, which is now her constituency, if you Google that as well, or if you YouTube it, is now turning into a literal shithole where faeces is coming out the window and complaints for other people with a large migrant population as well. Complaints from long-term residents there. So Nicola Sturgeon's constituency is literally turning into a shithole. Oh, I mean, honestly, you can write it. So our globalist MPs are conservative. Not even you're quite right. Like Corbyn, Steptoe, and Fat Diane. These sort of nebbishy neo-communist Marxist types are protecting Antifa. But also Antifa is protected by our 200 globalist people in the Conservative Party, the ones that still want to be part of the EU, a large the people who are misrepresenting as well, their constituents, they want to be still part of the EU. And they want to use Antifa to stifle any discontent with their immigration policy, which is still continuing. What the Conservative Remainers have said is just more of the same. Just more of the same. We're still going to let the illegal immigrants in. We've signed up to the false allegations to carry a sentence of 10 years. Completely correct. False allegations should actually carry a sentence. But you can't just have a sentence. You have to get the police to actually investigate it, and that's the hard part. The police just say, well, I'm not going to bother. Thanks. Same for a woman as well. I think if a guy has done that as well, they should be investigated properly as well. But I think polygraph tests, I mean, we've seen lie detector tests working. Some people say, well, lie detector tests don't work. They do work, and they're probably, in combination with other things, are a great tool to actually prove or disprove the guilt of an individual. So, let's start polygraphing those that accuse people, falsely accused. And if you're falsely accused, you go to jail. That will put a stop to that. So, we've now got the globalists. So, why is the Conservative Party not banned the neo-communists of Antifa, the terrorists of Antifa? Because they don't want to. Because they are useful idiots. Not the fact that they are actually terrorists. So let me just read out the terrorist declaration again. So do Antifa fit into this? A person who uses unlawful violence and intimidation, especially against civilians, in pursuit of political aims. In the UK, I'm talking about deplatforming of candidates, completely anti-democratic, intimidation of venues, violence, mass violence on the streets, intimidation of people who are not even Nazis or anything else, fascists or anything else, intimidation of them. So, when are we going to start putting Antifa in jail? When are we going to start breaking up the organisation? That's what I want to know. Why are we mollycoddling neo-communists and basically terrorists and allowing people to attack people on the streets for nothing? They're not even fascists, not even nothing. Islam is not compatible with the West, the left. No migrants vote Labour. Well, can't disagree with that. Can't disagree with that. I don't know why the Conservatives keep the immigrants out of their own constituencies. There's no migrant shelter May's constituency. I'll tell you that for nothing. And all the migrants, we just saw in the BBC that Stoke takes all the immigration. But what they're now trying to do is pass it around everybody, so we get this malaise, so that people who are just here vote for the Labour Party because they don't know any better, not knowing that the Labour Party's shit. They want to turn Britain into the next Venezuela. Anyway, that's me, my baby gorillas. Thanks very much for tuning in. You know I love you guys. Make my life worthwhile. And we're getting bigger as well. Don't worry about that. It's all coming. It's all new parties are coming. We're all going to stop voting for the Lib Lab Con Party, the disease that it is. The SNP are going to go as well. I'm telling you, the SNP took a big hit and they still didn't listen. Big hit at the last elections. But we're going to have new funky things. It's not going to be in the left-right. It's going to be authoritarian and libertarian. We're going to have the libertarians coming back in. We've already got a Scottish Libertarian Party. We're now talking about you look good, thanks buddy. We're now talking about classical liberalist party. And we've got some great stuff coming up. Great stream, enjoyed it. Thanks for enjoying your information. Thanks very much. Don't forget to check out the Turley Burley show on Sky News. Absolutely hilarious. My baby gorillas, I love you guys. Till next time.